Hello guys, how are you doing? Welcome. Yeah, we're just starting. Swabnanil Luvomir, hello, Valachi. How are you guys? Welcome. Hey, that's nice. Welcome, my friend. Harshit, hello, mate. How are you, man? Sorry that I didn't I got the time to create the schedule for the live stream for today. This last couple of weeks has been like super crazy. We've been doing I'll show you in just a second, but it's been really busy. I think it's the most the most I've worked in the whole year this past couple of days. Okay. Cool. So I was asking yesterday on the Discord channel about what should we do today, and there's a couple of suggestions. We got some ZBRUSH suggestions, we got some UDEMs suggestions, talked about AI suggestions as well, which is interesting. So what do you guys think? What should we do? Harshit, thank you, man. Yeah, I really like teaching. It's one of the things that I enjoy to do, and I'm really glad you like it. Really happy to have this opportunity to be a teacher and show you guys all the things that we've been using here in the industry. So for those of you that are not aware, I am a partner for a studio here in Mexico. It's my studio, along with my associate, and we do VR experiences. Okay. It's called HyperLab, and right now we've been working very closely with this museum right here, who's Museo del Desierto, here in my hometown in Saltillo, Coahuila, and we've been doing VR experiences, right? So HyperLab, Museo del Desierto. So this past 2 weeks, let me see if I see some pictures here of our area. I don't see them here. Maybe in Facebook. Hyper. There we go. This is it. So this is the area that we have in the museum. It's a big area, and in this past couple of weeks are the biggest weeks in the whole year for tourism here in Mexico, because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but in Mexico, most of the country is Christian or Catholic, and we have the Holy Week. So most companies, most schools, everyone has vacations. It's 2 weeks of vacations usually for schools, and we were there like helping all of the clients play and experience this thing right here, HyperLab. The VR panel. So that's why I couldn't schedule the live stream, and that's why. Oh, and also last week I got the infection from the Trojan that I got. So it's been really complicated a couple of weeks. So let me know in the chat, what should we do, guys? I still haven't finished the retopology for the book. We'll leave that for another time. But let me know what you guys want to do, and we'll do it for this hour. So what are your opinions? What should we do? Do you want to do some ZBRUSH? Do you want to do some Blender? Do you want to do some Maya? What did you suggest? Hello, Meta 3D Studio. How are you, my friend? Welcome. ZBRUSH is always a good hit. People always love ZBRUSH. So maybe we'll start here. Maya Udem, Harshit is asking for. What's up, bro? Okay, Maya Udem is fun as well. Let's do Maya. Andy, hello, man. Icy Film, hello, sir. Who is the best 3D artist and also the best teacher in Mexico? I'm not sure if that's a question or if that's a statement. If it's a statement, by far, I'm not the best artist. There's other people that are really, really good. Teacher, maybe I'm in the top 10 or something. I do consider myself to be a good teacher, so maybe I'm up there. I'm not sure if I'm the best, but I think I'm pretty good. Pretty good without sounding too too pretentious. Texturing. Okay, yeah, let's do some UDEMs. Let's talk about UDEMs because this is one of those things that that people have been asking for. Actually, I think I have a cool character that we could play around with. Let me see. Let me go and look for some of my old, like, Gnomon work. Portfolio, no. Newman, turn 5. Robot room, no. Where is it? I'm gonna back up. Nope. I don't have it. I was looking for one, but it's not here. What's this? No, it was a very simple, that one. Statue, this one. I think this one was good. Take a look. Yeah, this wasn't bad. Okay, okay. So maybe we can use this one. Okay. Let's see. Abraham, what's up with that, sir? I know, right? Am I knight or something? That would be pretty cool. Will there ever be a new course on animation in Maya? Yes, Matthias. Actually, after I finish this course that I'm working on, the Sci-Fi Girl, we're gonna have a Maya course and we're gonna be doing a little bit of animation there. And then I wanna do a animation for games a little bit later down the year. Can you explain what Decimation Master is in ZBRUSH? Yes, we can go over that. Hey, thank you for your great job and awesome courses. Really enjoy when you explain some anatomy sculpting in your videos. Ah, you're welcome. I've always wanted to do a full anatomy course, but unfortunately it doesn't sell that well, so that's why I try to add a little bit of anatomy in all of the other courses. I saw you making a book live a while ago. You're a great teacher, by the way, especially on such a broad topic. A book? Oh, yeah. We were doing a book. We haven't finished that one, but we're working on it. I'm on the retopology stage for that one. I'm trying to find the what's the word? A cool project to show you UDEMs, guys, but I can't seem to find it. There we go. Here. Hard surface. No, it was hard surface modeling 2. So it was term 7. There we go. Here we go. There we go. Geisha robot. Okay. Scenes. It's this one. Okay. So this is a model I did for my hard surface modeling 2 class like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't know. It was a long time. So, Icy Film, yes, we'll probably have a sale soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but it's probably gonna be soon. Any new premium courses in progress? Yes, we have 3 premium courses on the making right now. One is for ZBRUSH, one is for, or actually one is creatures, one is environments, and the other one is characters. So I think you guys are gonna like that one. Do you have any plan for facial animation course? That's a good question. I'm not sure for him. But I'll add that to the list. Okay, so this is a character I did several years ago, and it was okay. It's not the best model. Like, it has some issues. For instance, this piece right here, you can see it's thin. Like, it doesn't have any thickness. It's just like a floating piece of like metal and stuff. Which in the sci-fi world, it can work. It has a couple of extra support edges that I don't think are as needed. But in general, it was a good model. You can see the topology-wise, it looks okay. We don't have any endguns. Everything is quads. Things are subdividing nicely and everything. So if we go to the UV editor, this is UDEMs, okay? These are UDEMs, and this is why UDEMs are so important. So I'm gonna go over to the internet and look for a UV map checker. And not so long ago, this guy created this site right here. On January, Jorge Valle is his name, and he created this little plugin. This little plugin here, and we can download some of this. And I really like this one right here, the rainbow one, because it's very clear. And the cool thing is you can change the colors and stuff. That's fine. I'm just gonna download this at 4K resolution, and that's it. So, Charlotte says, a student from Scotland here. Just gonna say your tutorials are great. Definitely the best teacher I've come across. I'm not sure if you guys saw the suggestion, but if you guys tell me that we should do it, I'll do it. I'll buy this. So they sell these maps right here. They sell these maps from the world where you can scratch off the countries that you've visited. Now, I'm not like a super fan of traveling. I like traveling, but I don't intend to travel the whole world. But I think it would be very fun if I get this map and I scratch all of the places where you guys are from. So if I can collect a student from every single country in the world, I think that would be pretty cool. What do you guys think? Should we do that? It's not that expensive. It's like $30, so I can get it. But you guys let me know in the comments if you think this is a good idea, and maybe we could have it like right there where Thor is or something. And every time we get a new student from a place that we haven't registered, I'll scratch it off. Let me know in the comments if we should do that. Matthias says, "Do it, let's do it." Says Popper's Penguins. Yeah, I think it's a fun idea. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this guy right here. I'm gonna assign a new material. It's gonna be a basic like a Lambert material. Nice. Yeah, okay, we'll do it. I'll order it and we'll show it on the next live stream. And here in the color, I'm gonna assign the image that we just downloaded, this one right here. If I press number 6, you're gonna see this, okay? So what you're seeing here is the resolution that we're gonna be seeing on the character if we were to texture it, right? Now you can see not all of the islands are like oriented properly. Ideally, you want all of the islands to be oriented in the same way. It's not super important, but it's a good way to get some nice results. Now, if we go to the UV section right here, to the UV editor, and we check the UVs for our character, you guys are gonna see that right now we're breaking one of the rules that I normally teach when I'm teaching UVs. And one of those rules is you should not have any islands outside of the one-to-one like place, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab all of the shells. I'm gonna say modify, layout, and we're gonna lay them out in a single like slot. So if I do this, as you can see now, every single island has been compressed to the 1-to-1 square, which is usually what we would see, right? Like usually when we're doing UVs and we use the unfold and stuff like that, this is something close to what we would. There's a couple of islands that need some work, but you can see that they're in the same space. The problem with this is that if we take a look at the character, we are using a 4K texture to make sure that all of these things fit in there, which is fine. But if we're going to be doing a render where things are going to be really, really close up, like this, for instance, look at the pixelation that we're going to start seeing on the letter A, for instance, right? So that's not something that we might want for a super close-up of the character. Now, for a game, you're probably not going to be using UDEMs. UDEMs are not something that you can easily use inside of a game because the games need to work a little bit faster, right, than renders. But if you're doing cinematic renders, commercials, or even for your portfolios, this is one of the things that you definitely can use to your advantage. So once you have your stuff like set up like this, you need to go to the UVs, and we need to check what is the UV. It's called the UV resolution or the texel resolution. So if we select all of the islands here, Maya actually has a built-in tool to check our texel resolution. So if we go to transform, down here there's this texel density pixel per unit, and we can change this and say, hey, you know what, this guy is gonna have a 4096 map. What's the texel resolution? If I say get, you're gonna see that we get a number, 20.9. So it's saying for every unit inside of Maya, which is a centimeter, for every centimeter that you have, you're gonna have 20 pixels of texture, which is actually not that bad. Like 20 pixels per pixel is really, or sorry, 20 pixels per centimeter is actually a really good number. I've had some assets that go all the way down to like 5 or something. Now keep in mind that this changes with scale, okay? So if I were to scale this thing like really up, then the texel resolution of course is gonna go down because the object is bigger. So what we can do here is say, hey, you know what, like I do want to keep these UVs, but instead of having them be in one single square, I want to have, I don't know, like 10 squares, let's say 10 squares. So I'm going to say modify, layout, and I'm going to change a little option down here where it says tile U. U is horizontal, so I'm going to say 5, and V is vertical. These are going to be like 2K maps. The shell padding is going to be, let's say, 8 pixels, and the tile padding is going to be 8 pixels as well. This is the distance that you're going to have from each, or between each, between each island, and this is the distance that you're going to have from the border of the islands. And then if I hit apply, what should happen is that now Maya has properly positioned all of these elements along the surface of our UV tiles, and now we're occupying the space that would require 10 of these elements. And if we take a look at the character, you're gonna see that the density of the element changed. So now it can go really close before I start seeing any sort of pixelation. Now there's a couple of problems here, right? So let's do a little bit of problem solving. So for instance, this face right here, the UVs of the face are really bad. You can see that they're like broken. So we can fix those. If I select the face, you can see it's a flat face. So if we just do a UV, a camera based projection, and then you do a UV unfold, there we go. That face is now like working properly. And now of course we need to select everything again. And in the UV options, it's very important that when you do the unfold or the layout, you check this option that says shell pre-scaling, preserve 3D ratios. That should scale things so that they match the 3D world, and that way the size of the face should be somewhere around here. Let me see the face. Where's the face? Did not select the face? Oh, it's been selected. There we go. So that way the size of the face is going to work as intended. Now, as you can see, there's a couple of issues with the UVs. And UVs is one of those things that a lot of people struggle with. I always like to call UVs like the first boss of the 3D world. If we were playing like a video game, it would be like the first boss that we encounter, because people we tend to struggle. So for instance, that island right there, that's messed up. That one right there is also messed up. There's the face right there. I think it's just those two, to be honest. Everything else seems to be working fine. Yeah, so those two pieces are like messed up, and we need to find out which ones they are. Okay, it's the legs right here. So I'm gonna grab these 2 legs. Let's isolate them. I don't know what it is with the new Maya, that the exposure, I feel like the exposure is way too high for some reason. So I'm gonna bring this down to -2. And they're not difficult pieces, this ones. As you can see, they're just cylinders. So I'm not really sure why when I did this I had so much problems. But here's the quick way to do it. So it's UV, camera-based projection to create like a picture. And once we do that, we just say UV, 3D cut, and we're gonna cut one line here on the inside. We can even use, ideally we would use like this corner right there, to be honest, because a corner is something that we can very, very easily use to cut the object. And that's it. Like once we unfold that, it should work. And we can use metal etchware and other things inside of Substance Painter to clean this up. By the way, guys, if you are finding all of this interesting and you want to learn a little bit more, we do have some courses about Substance Painter available in Skillshare and Udemy and everywhere. So there we go. So look at that. So now we do the unfold, and this looks way better. That's a nice unfold right there. So once we do that, now we can grab again all of the elements, do another layout. Control L is a shortcut for the layout. Just make sure that there's no overlap, that there's no like weird island or anything. Things seem to be working fine. And one of the most important things that you want to check is when you press number 6, the size of all the squares should be very, very similar to each other. As you can see, some of this are not as similar, and it happens sometimes with Maya. I'm going to try to freeze transformation and delete history. I'm going to try to do preserve UV ratios instead. And let's see if that gives us a slightly better result. That's pretty much the same. I mean, it's not bad, but you can see, for instance, the shoulder pads, they have fewer or less resolution than, let's say, this plate right here. One of the ways that I found that you can like get away or solve this issue is by combining everything into a single object. Because when you combine everything into a single object, then it knows that everything has to be the same thing. So we can combine everything here, say modify, lay this out, preserve 3D ratios, hit apply. It should try to do its best. It's not bad. Sometimes it also depends on the size of the islands, whether or not you're gonna get like a nicer resolution. I'm a little bit like concerned that this right here and this right here, even though they're the same volume, they look slightly different, which is this one right here. I don't know where the other one is. But that's fine, it's over here. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference in some cuts, but it should be fine. So now I'm gonna grab this guy right here. I'm gonna export this to the desktop for now. Let's call this robot geisha. And we're gonna go to Substance Painter. Any questions until now? Feels like a class, like a lecture right now. I feel like I'm back at school. Okay, so I'm gonna say File, New. We're gonna select the Geisha robot. There we go. And we're gonna do, let's do just 2K. But very important, when you're using UDEMs, if you wanna use UDEMs, you need to select this option that says use UV tile workflow. I'm gonna hit OK. Once we do that, we're ready to go into the UV layout. So if we get this right here, as you can see, things are looking nice. Things are looking nice over here. We can do a quick test by just dragging and dropping like this aluminum one. And you can see that is flowing nicely along pretty much every single like part of the character. We're gonna get a really nice result. Iori wants to ask about my specs. So I have a Ryzen. What's it? Let's check this. So we got a Ryzen 7 5800 or 5800X. I have a NVIDIA 3080 Ti 32 gigabytes of RAM, and this is my motherboard right here, which is the MPG B55 Gaming Plus. Hi Topi, yeah, thank you. This is an old project of mine, and I'm teaching UDEMs right now. So the one thing that I definitely want to do is I want to do a bake for all of these maps, right? So I'm going to do this bake at 2K, and we're going to bake like everything. So I'm just going to say bake selected textures. And what this will do is it will do a quick bake of the objects. But most importantly, we're gonna get a bake for the ambient occlusion, which, as you guys know, the ambient occlusion and the curvature map are very important to get important information from the character. So the thing about UDEMs, one of the important information that you guys need to take into account is that we are going to be using more resources, right? Like right now we're working with 10 UDEMs, and each UDEM is a 2K map. So it's pretty much like if we were working with 10 2K maps. Okay, so keep that in mind, because it definitely is a workflow that requires a powerful setup, or at least a little bit more memory, to be able to get the best out of it. Okay, so playlist. I'm listening to the Riot Games music from League of Legends. They have this thing called Sessions, and this is the Diana session. And I'm using it because it's free to use, and you don't get into any sort of problems with copyright. Peter Lynn, what's up, man? What's up? Matthias, I work with both. So right now I'm working with my mouse, but I do have my tablet like right here, and if I need to work on the tablet, I can just like work with the tablet. My setup is like it's like 2 monitors, and then my drawing or my pen display here in the middle center. Okay, so now that we have all of the UDEMs, look at this beauty. Like, we have all of these UDEMs right here. We can start adding details to our character. Let's start with something very simple. Let's start with some like steel. So I have this steel rough that I really like. I'm just gonna drag and drop it right here. And as you can see, this is gonna give us a really, really nice texture. But not only that, like, look at how close I can get to the texture without it pixelating, right? I can get really, really, really close. And we're getting a lot of detail, something that we would not be able to do if we were working with traditional elements. Okay, now we can even like tile this a little bit more. Like, we can say, hey, give me 4 tiles for the texture, and we should see a really, really nice result. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of the normal information. I'm just gonna keep the color, the metalness, and the roughness. And now let's add a very basic paint layer. So if I add a paint layer like this, steel painted, for instance. Set that on top. I'm also gonna remove the height information for that one. I wanna just keep like the paint. Actually, it's not that bad. We can keep it. And let's change the color. In the original concept, this was like a beige color. So something like this. And again, look how nice we can see the whole thing. Like, we can get really, really close, and we're not gonna be pixelating the texture because we're working with 10 UDEMs, right? Which is quite the amount, but again, it's gonna give us a really, really nice clean result. Now, if we see a discrepancy, and we've talked about this before, like this one right here looks a little bit bigger, the texture I mean, compared to this one right here on the scale. How can we fix that? Well, if we go to the materials that we're using, we can change some options like the projection and change this to something like a triplanar projection, which is gonna make sure that everything is like properly scaled. So now every single part of the character will have the same scale because we're not using the UDEMs or the UBs, we are using this triplanar projection right here. And by doing that, we get this very nice result. And again, by the way, guys, if you want to check a little bit more about this like techniques, I just finished a course. I think it was like last month or like 6 weeks ago. Let me show you real quick. So all of our courses are available in ArtStation, and I finished this one right here, which is the mechanical creature making for production. We go over modeling, texturing, UVs, we use UDEMs and everything. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what we're doing here, this is the course that I recommend. It's really, really, really cool. We're probably gonna be rigging and animating this character as well in an upcoming course later this year. So yeah, that's a little bit of a commercial right there. David, how are you, my friend? Hello. Glad to see you here. Randomly doodles. Wanted to refresh myself on hard surface about the mechanical line course. There you go. Finished modeling already. However, one downside is that I need to make the UV somewhat neat because my OCD. Yeah, it all depends on how clean you want things. You can always make things super clean. Like this one right here is not super clean. I would say it's like 80% clean. But for what we're doing right now, it's gonna work perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm gonna add a black mask, of course, and then I'm gonna add a generator, our traditional generator, metal etchware. There we go. We can invert this, and that already is gonna give us a super nice effect. Look at that. Look at the height map information along the lines of the whole thing. That's what we're talking about, right? Like this is the, again, usually if you're seeing like a close-up of the character, it's probably going to be at this distance, and at this distance we can still see some really clean textures everywhere. If we only had like a 2K texture or like a 4K texture for the whole thing, it would be very difficult to get at this level of this level of detail for the character. Now I'm gonna show you guys my secret. This is a secret that I've shared before, but you guys always forget about this, especially on the portfolio reviews. It hurts my heart that you guys forget about this secret to make your metal etchware even better. We even have a specific video on the channel that says how to make your metal or etchware a lot better. So what's the problem? The problem is that the metal etchware that we use, this modifier right here, it hits every single edge of the character in the same way, right? So every single edge on the face, on the neck, on this guys right here, like every single edge is being affected in the same amount. And if we take a look at objects, I'm gonna show you my Mickey Mouse cup right here. Actually, this is a very bad example. This one's a little bit better. So this is my my cup, and if we take a look at my cup, for instance, hopefully you guys can see the bottom part of the cup is not damaged in the same way. It does have damage pretty much overall, but there's areas, for instance, in this area right here, where it's not as intense. Like this is another edge right here, and I have a little bit of chipped paint over here, a little bit of a nick right there. On the top right here, again, there's a little bit of damage in certain areas, but it's not everywhere, right? So with metal etchware, in machines, in robots, in all of those things, there's always the need to make sure that you don't have things everywhere. Okay, so the way we solve this is by using this little trick right here. As someone is mentioning there on the comments, yes, you can what's the word, you can paint it out. You can do a, what's the word, you can do a nice, oh, you want to see the full screen? Let me show you. So you can see the metal etchware there. Okay, so it's not uniformly across the whole thing. We have more on certain areas and then less in other areas. Same here. If we take a look at this part right here, it's very clean, and then we have a little bit of damage right there, then it's very clean. Okay, so that's what I mean by making sure that your metal etchware is not everywhere. Now here's what we're gonna do. If we're here instead of substance, we can add a fill layer. Right click, add a fill layer, and fill that layer with a random like noise texture. I personally like to use clouds, and I like clouds 2. And what this clouds 2 will do is it will create a mask that's using clouds to see where we're gonna have like metal etchware or not. So what I like to do is I like to push the contrast of the clouds, even increase the tiling a little bit, like a 4 or something. There we go. And you can play around with the balance, which is more or less. You can play around with the contrast. And then this mask right here, remember, this is a black and white mask that right now has this sort of like cloud texture, and it's applying on top of the mask for our painted steel. If we turn this off, we're going to go back to our metal etchware. So right now they're competing against each other. We can only have one or the other. But if we go to the clouds mask and change this to a multiply, or in this case to a divide, what we can do, as you can see here, is we can use this clouds to change how much or how little of the metal etchware we want. Look at that. Look at how like random and nice this new like overlay looks. I can bring the contrast down to soften this up. We can even bring the clouds like opacity down a little bit to soften everything up. But by combining these two generators, we can get a really nice blend between the things without the need to go in there and paint things on. Okay, because we can of course go and paint things, but the problem with painting things is that it's going to take a little bit longer. So all of this is procedural. Okay, this is the beauty of the generators and knowing how to use them. So if we play around with this sort of stuff, we're gonna be able to create some very cool variations. Look at the difference. This is with the clouds, and this is without the clouds. Without the clouds, it just looked like I threw in a stuff right here. And with the clouds, we get this right here. Alston! Hey, my friend. You're a little bit late, but don't worry. Don't worry, we're here. We still got time. Remember, guys, that we have our live streams at 9:30 a.m. Mexico time on Mondays, and which would be 9, I think it's 9 p.m. India time. So, yeah. If we're doing a retopo for hard surface models, should we be adding support edges wherever there are hard edges in the model? It depends, Paras. If you're going to be using subdivision, which is this character right here, like if you're going to be like doing this instead of Maya and you're going to be pressing number 3 and stuff like that, then yes. But if you're going to be doing it for games, then usually no. You don't need to do any sort of stuff. Mohammed Firdaus, hello, I'm new here. I'm from Indonesia. Hello, my friend. What time is it on Indonesia? Because I think you're a little bit farther east. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna go for some like carbon fiber. I'm gonna bring this on top. There we go. And I'm gonna of course increase the tiling. Let's have something like a 10, so we get a nice like carbon fiber look. I'm gonna say black mask, and this one I'm gonna press number 4. I'm gonna start selecting meshes that I want to be made out of carbon fiber, like these little spheres right there. Pretty much all of the spheres that were the connections. This is another model that I wanted to rig, but I never did. Maybe we can do that another time. It's a very simple model. If you take the rigging course that we have, you should be able to rig this character pretty easily, because there's no skinning deformation. Everything is like a solid object. So there's no need for that sort of stuff. That piece is a little bit complicated to get to. There we go. Let's do this pipes. Go. I don't remember, because I remember submitting this character for Noman's like student gallery. I don't remember if I got picked or not for this one, but I had a lot of fun with this character when I did it. Let's see, 11 p.m. over there in Indonesia. Damn, it's really late. I gotta confess that no, I think I was gonna say something that was not correct. Thailand is close to Indonesia. Yeah, okay. So that's Thailand, and then where is Indonesia? I definitely need to get my map now. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're a little bit close. Okay, Thailand and Indonesia. Okay. I was gonna say that one of my favorite foods is curry. When I was in Los Angeles, there was a little Thai place that was from Thailand, and they had this super great like red curry with like coconut milk. It's delicious. I've been trying to replicate that recipe over here in Mexico, but they don't have the ingredients, like the exact ingredients, so it tastes okay, but it's not the same. I miss it so much. It was one of my favorite things. Here. Perfect. There we go. Got some nice details there for the UVs. Let's answer some questions. So Korea is 1 a.m. now. Oh, my friend, you're from Korea? Nice. I was trying to sleep but woke up when I saw the alarm of your live. Go get some rest, man. The live is gonna be here at the end as well. Don't worry. Rohan says, with ray tracing and path tracing becoming a thing, is baking AO maps now obsolete? No, I don't think it's going to be obsolete, because AO maps are used for both like realism, but we also use them for like texturing. So when we add, let's say I want to add a rust layer here, which is again very common. If I throw in a rust layer on top of everything and I add a black mask and I say, hey, give me a dirt layer. The dirt generator here inside the substance is using the ambient occlusion to find out where to place all of this stuff. So I don't think we're gonna, like, even with ray tracing and path tracing, I don't think we're gonna have that sort of effect. Why didn't you create an ID material for this? Pexat is asking. Because we just started. I just like got this. This is an old file that I had a time ago or a long time ago. So I just didn't. I didn't have ID materials for this. But yes, you're right. An ID material would save a little bit of time with the masking right there. Randomly Doodle says, random question, would you consider releasing concept art piece packs for those who have more experience with modeling and might not need full tutorials but want to show they can model off concepts? Yeah, I mean, we can do that. To be honest, there's a lot of concepts online, so as long as you're not doing any commercial work, you should be fine using any concept. But if you want specific concepts, yeah, we can try doing something like that. Like challenges. Maybe in the next contest could be a challenge where I give you guys the concept art, and we can see who gets the closest. That would be a nice. I think that would be a nice like challenge. Hello, Duitran. Chat says, do you ever discuss how to get in the industry during any of your streams, like the portfolio ones? Do you talk about topics like that? Yes, we've talked about that. I've also have a couple of videos about that in the channel if you want to look for them. The main advice, like the general advice, is you need to have a really good grasp of 3D like pipelines. So depending on what you want to be, a modelator, an animator, a rigger, or whatever, you need to know what are the tools that are being used right now, and you need to have a portfolio that shows that you know how to use those tools. That's like the things that are on your side, I would say. But then there's also the part where you need to get your name out there. So depending on where you live, on the country where you live, attending any sort of like conferences, any sort of expos, like Comic Cons and stuff like that, so that you can network and meet people. That's what really opens the doors, because that's how you get to know people that are doing the same thing, and that's when opportunities and things can arise. So that's like just some very vague general advice, but hopefully they're helpful. So there we go. Let's add a little bit of rust in certain areas for the character. I like that. Can you show us how to make believable wetness wet spot? Yeah, let's do it. So let's say she has been walking on some like water. I am just gonna add a basic plastic glossy. I personally like to change this to like a dark green color, like this, and change this to an overlay so that it becomes a little bit darker. You can go for blue as well, like a dark blue, something like this. And then I'm gonna add a black mask. And here's where I would probably paint. So I'm gonna use like this dirt splash, for instance. And you can paint some of this like spots. And then if you change, well, this is to overlay, you just bring the intensity down. And that's going to give you this sort of like wet spots effect. And then if you combine this with other brushes like this dots erase, which are like little dots, little spots, it's going to look like droplets of water. Sometimes I use this for like oil or blood or stuff like that, but it's all in the glossiness, right? So this element right here, as you can see, has a glossiness or a roughness, and it's really low because water tends to be really low. And then again, with the overlay, you can decide how dark or not you want the water to be like affecting the character. That's probably one way I would like go around this sort of stuff, like this like water or oil effects. Now this character had another thing. It had this like a red plastic element, so I'm gonna add another plastic glossy black mask, and it was this little guys right here. It was this two guys right here, this guys right there, and this guys right here. And in the concept, if I remember correctly, they were like a dark red, something like that. Actually, I'm gonna go to the carbon fiber, and the stomach was also that sort of color right there. Now, from a graphic design perspective, kind of like the idea of having a little bit of extra red in certain areas, so I'm gonna add those there as well, just to make her look a little bit more pretty, right? Not bad, right? Yeah, exactly, Topi. If you want, you can use height to push it up a little bit. It depends on how much like layers you have there. But you could definitely add something like that. Do you know? No, I don't know Bangladesh, sir. There, are you from there? Are you from Bangladesh? I was telling people that we're gonna buy this map. After the stream is over, I'm gonna order it. So we're gonna buy this map right here. It says it's gonna get here on the 21st. So if you're from Bangladesh, we can scratch the country off. I'm gonna be collecting students from all over the world and see how many we can get. David says, question, I see a lot of talented 3D artists struggle finding a job, even with epic portfolios. Why do you think that happens? If that's the level of competition, how beginners ever can enter the industry? Oof, that's a very, very, very intense question. So I'm gonna go in a tangent here. I believe I like to divide things into 3 factors: personal factors, industry factors, and let's call them like society factors, okay? So on the personal factors, there might be that those people are looking for specific things, and the level of competition that they might face on that specific part of their goals or their careers is too much, right? So for instance, let's say I wanted to work at Blizzard doing cinematics. There's only a handful of people that are doing cinematics, and if I want to be there, I need to be at a super high level. And even if I'm at that super high level, if they're not hiring, like if they already have a guy that's been there for 10 years, they're not gonna hire someone completely new just because I'm a little bit better than them, right? So maybe my goals are not perfectly matching with the reality of the thing that I want to achieve. So it's not that I'm not good enough, it's that the thing that I want might not be a fit right now. That also has to do with the company side of things, which was this, like the second section, right? So sometimes you want to really work on a specific project, but if you don't have all of the necessary tools, or they're not hiring, well, then it's not because you're bad, it's because the opportunity is simply not there. And then the last one, the society part of things, that's the ugly truth, right? Like we know that in this like capitalist world, there's a lot of people that are working to make as much money with as little expenses as possible. So for instance, right now, a lot of my friends, 2D concept artists, are having a hard time because of AI. And there are some companies that don't care about the ethics of AI, and they will just do pictures and don't hire any concept artists, and that works for them. Well, if that's the way they want to do it, that's fine. My friends are gonna have to adapt and find a solution to that, but that's the ugly truth. Like there are a lot of multifactorial things that work against you. For instance, for me, one of the obstacles that I had when I wanted to work in the US was the visa, right? We know the visa is really important, and I couldn't get a work visa, so that's one of the reasons why I couldn't stay over there. And I decided to start, if I couldn't work over there, I just decided to start my own studio, right? So it's a really complex topic, unfortunately. But that's what I was mentioning earlier. That's why you as an artist, you need to do everything that's in your hands to be to have the opportunities available. Well, that's not the way to phrase it. You need to do everything that's in your hand to be prepared for where the opportunity appears, okay? And another advice I like to give my students, especially here in Mexico, because the entertainment industry here in Mexico is not as big, is try to find where you can use all of these 3D assets or 3D skills that you have for other industries. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I could go, there's a lot of like car industries over here in my hometown. If I go there and I try to sell them a video game, they're not gonna like it, but I can sell them, hey, what if we create a character like this guy right here that's gonna be your pet, like your character for your company, and we do animations and we do like a little app or something. That's the kind of stuff that they want, and then they're looking for. And you're gonna be using the exact same 3D skills that you would be using for a movie or for a game. It's just gonna be a different focus. Okay, so those are the opportunities that you need to be like looking for and utilizing when you see them. Was there any South Korean student? I don't think so, man. I think you're the first one. We have a Japanese. He has submitted some stuff for portfolio review as well. So is it okay with applying only one texture on complex modeling? I was trying to apply textures for every... Yeah. You can keep it simple, man. No need to make it super complicated. ID material. ID material is a way to mask things out, Paras. I'm probably going to be doing a video about that later. I'm very sorry to resend this, but you didn't reply to it and I really want to know the answer. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. Hello, I've been recently starting drawing with the drawing tablet. I just draw some lines and let the hand doodle stuff without any thoughts until recognize the shape and can refine the drawing. Is that any good besides improving your head control with the tablet? Yes, there are some exercises that you can do if you want to improve your control. The first one is trying to do circles. Okay, so you just do a lot of circles. And the more circles you do, the more like control you're gonna have. And then lines, you just do straight lines and try to do longer and longer straight lines as clean as possible. And the important thing about drawing, this applies both to digital drawing and traditional drawing, is you want to draw with your whole arm. That's very, very important. You don't want to be doing this where you're only working with your hand, because it becomes very difficult. Like, look at the difference between trying to do a straight line with only my hand. Okay, that's only my hand, and with my whole arm I can do longer, cleaner lines. Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of practice. Now I do have a pen display which doesn't require as much like training, but you do this exact same thing for a traditional tablet. I'm in Indonesia. The salaries of designers are very low. Most of the designers here take freelance jobs from abroad. Yeah, Mexico is the same situation, man. The salaries here are usually a little bit low. So when Sean says, greetings from Malaysia, would you mind explaining a bit on when it comes to baking high poly details to low poly? What's the usage of max frontal distance and max radius distance? I'm not gonna have time to explain that today because I don't have a high poly, but we'll talk about that when we finish the book. We're working on that. But it basically means that if you have a high poly, like let's say I'm doing a rock modeling, right? And let's say we're seeing the rock from straight. Let's say that the high poly of the rock is like this. Okay, that's what I sculpted in ZBRUSH. And then my low poly, it's like this. So the max frontal distance is how far up and how far down substance is going to look from that surface to find all of these details. If the frontal distance is not as high, like let's say it's only up to there, then all of these details right here are not going to be found, and therefore you're going to get a clip right there. So you need to increase the max frontal distance so that you like properly like find all of this information and it gets baked down into the low poly. That's like the short answer right there. Alston says, hey, can you make a tutorial on how to create fire in Maya? Maybe like a candle flame or a campfire. I was planning on making a lamp and I think a proper foam. Yeah, I did that already. Nexttut Bifrost. I did that last year actually. Nexttut Fire. Where is it? It was one of the videos from last year, early last year, and I show how to do. We did like a bonfire, like from Elden Ring and stuff like that. My God, look at how many videos we have, my friends. We're almost like at 800 videos or something. It's I've been working quite a bit this past. We're almost 2 years into. There we go. This one right here. So I'll link it here. So it's called Aereo, and I show how to do this like fire effect. It's heavy. It's heavy because it's actual simulation. It's quite heavy, but it's I think you guys can get some cool information from that one. Let's see. Oh, thank you, chat. Thank you. I enjoyed being there. I was in Los Angeles for 3 years when I was a student, and I did get some interviews and some offers, but unfortunately, and I understand it's easier for American studios to hire American artists than it is to hire international students or artists because of the whole visa thing, right? But the cool thing is I've actually been working with several like US studios for the past couple of years as a freelancer, and thanks to the nature of our work where everything is digital, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, always use shoulder for drawing. Yeah, whole arm. Does anyone know if there's a way to have an outline, or should say a line, but not around the silhouette, but only on the overlapping parts of the models? That's probably something that you're gonna have to do inside of Maya, and there has to be some tool. I've never done that, but there has to be a way. May I ask, is there a way to rotate the Arnold render view image 90 degrees? You mean to make it vertical? Yeah, we can do that. Oh, David, I know, but that's fine, it's fine. When you say in your intermediate course, a basic understanding of Maya is expected, what do you consider the basics? That's a great question. Let me show you. So as long as you know how to model and do things, that's fine. What course was that? Was that the Lion course? Yeah, I mean, if you know how to model like a simple like hammer, like a simple thing, if you know the basics of UVs and stuff like that, you should be able to follow. We don't make them like super hard. Yeah, exactly. David says, right? Basic control. Yeah, what I mean by that is I'm not going to be explaining what extrude is. I'm not going to be explaining what an edge loop is. I might like reference some of those things, but we're not going to go like into those elements as much. Would you say uni college qualifications plays a huge part as long as you're great at your job? No, they don't actually. In this career, it's not as important. I only have my Nomen certificate, which is that right there. It's not like a university degree, to be honest, and I'm doing really well, to be honest. So I've even taught classes in universities. The only problem is there are some universities that are really like picky about who they hire, and they're like, oh, if you want to teach at college, you need to have at least a master's degree because you're expected to be better than a college student to teach. But I've been able to get around that by showing them my portfolio and my experience and be like, hey, I don't have the degree, but I can show you how to make this. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's what we need, right? So they go for it. Okay. Let's jump into the render because that's the final part I want to show you guys. Of course, we could continue like texturing and doing like crazy stuff with this character, but I want to go with rendering. So to export these things, I am gonna export them again on the desktop. I'm gonna create a new folder here, just to keep things in the same place for now. I know this is not ideal. We're gonna export this as Arnold AI standard, very important. I'm just gonna hit export, and this is the interesting part. UDEMs are great because we get a lot of texture, a lot of what's the word? We get a lot of a resolution. But there's a big problem with UDEMs. Look how many textures we get. That's 184 megabytes of textures, and it's 40 different textures. In this case, we don't really need the height information. We can only do base color, metalness, normal, and roughness. So that's 40 textures. But still, that's 158 megabytes at 2K resolution. So it's quite a bit. Anna Cristina says, I'm sorry for this super unrelated question, but do you know if there is a way to do a roughness pass in Maya? Can you elaborate? What do you mean by that? We're gonna jump into Maya right now, so we might be able to do something like that, but I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Let's save this here. Let's see. Suggestion: whenever going live, announce it in Discord. It's over 200 people there, and YouTube not always holding notification. Yeah. I was telling people, David, that the last 2 weeks have been crazy because of the holy weeks that we have here in Mexico. It's a really crazy. It's a crazy time, and we're in the museum, so I haven't had time to organize things. But I'm back, and we're gonna keep things cleaner. We're probably gonna have another like live stream on Thursday. Let's see. 3D Mutiny says, brutal honesty. I've been an art director for about 6 years from personal experience. We don't give a shit about if you went to uni, as long as you can make what we're looking for. Yeah, there you go. There you go, guys. I'm telling you. And yeah, it's the same thing here, for instance. Like, we have 5 artists right now at the studio, and I don't care if they studied with tutorials, with the school, by themselves. As long as they can do what we need them to do, then it's perfectly fine. Okay, I'm gonna go to... Where's my substance? Plugin. Setting preferences. Plugin manager. We're gonna look for substance. Let's load and auto load. Yes. I'm gonna show you that, man. Don't worry. There we go. Yes, we can connect ambient occlusion. I'll show you that. Okay, so I'm gonna go here to substance. I'm gonna use this workflow to maps, and this is gonna allow me to do things a lot faster. So I'm gonna select the normal map. Let's do by name. Okay, so base color, metalness, normal, and roughness. Hit select, apply, and this is going to create a new material that's going to connect everything automatically. This one right here. If we go to the this guy right here, and we go to our standard surface, you can see that everything here is going to be connected. This one. Yeah, it's supposed to be this one. Oh, that's really weird. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing things, but it seems to be connected. Okay, let me do a edit, delete unused nodes. There we go. Let's do another connection here. So here, select multiple maps, color, metalness, normal, and roughness. There we go. This is gonna be this one right there. Okay, perfect. There we go. So this is the new one. Really weird. For some reason, it's not letting me see that, but that's fine. We're just gonna go to this guys right here, to the elements, and we need to change the tiling mode. Oh, you know what? No, let's start a clean one. New scene. Because it seems like that scene is a little bit corrupted. So file, import the robot. There we go. And then we're gonna go again here. Multiple maps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Apply. There we go. There we go. So as you can see, now we have the normal map, we have the base color, we have the roughness and the metalness. What we need to do is we need to change this option here, UV tiling mode, and change it to UDEMs so that it finds all of these textures, and we can use this to render it properly. Seems like I disconnected this one. There we go. Metalness, change this to UDEMs. Everything should already be set up properly, so don't worry about that. Now we're gonna go Arnold lights. Let's do a skydome light. Let's bring in a file. I think I have one. Oh. What do I have here? Cape Heal. I don't like that one. That's a little bit better. There we go. Now, here's the question that someone was asking about the Arnold thing. If we want to flip this and we want to make it horizontal, the only thing that we need, or vertical, the only thing we need to do is change the proportions here on the width and the height. So instead of 1920 by 1080, it's going to be 1080 by 1920. So that will be a full HD render right here. Now, if we can't really see it here, I need to go to my camera. Actually, let me create a camera. Panels, selected. Turn on resolution gate. There we go. So that's going to be the render that we're going to get. Kind of like a postcard, right? So I'm going to go to this guy right here. I'm going to bring the camera visibility down. Let me save this as well. Robot render. Well, let's do a quick test. I'm going to change the options here to GPU. And let's hope this doesn't crash. Let's see. While this renders, let's answer some questions because it's going to transfer or convert all of the textures. Yeah. Okay. So talking about the like the uni and stuff like that, it's not as important, but that doesn't mean that's not valuable. Okay, because one of the valuable things about uni or going to college is not only the kind of knowledge that you get, it's also the connections that you have. The teacher connections, the student connections, that type of like networking that you get is really, really valuable. Also, if you're someone that struggles with like order and organization and stuff like that, uni and college will also like try to improve that on your stuff. So that's also important. Ana Cristina says, for the render breakdowns, I have seen people doing like normals and wireframe photos, but I have yet to see how to only see the roughness separate. Oh, okay, I see what you mean, Cristina. In that case, you're probably gonna have to use something called render passes or render passes. I don't think we're gonna have time today to look at those, but we can talk about those later. And there's a way where you can like see each individual pass, like the specular, the metallic, everything. There we go. That's looking nice. Aditya says, important, I don't have money to buy displacement maps, so where can I get? Please help. You can create your own displacement maps by converting any image into a height map. There is a program called Crazy Bump that you can use. It's free, and you can do it that way. 3D Mutiny Man, that's so amazing to read because I've been trying to prove that point to my parents. Yeah. Grav Das, so I want to become character artist. Do I need to know hair creating and texturing? Yes, it's part of the package. Burke, hello my friend. 3D Mutiny says, I happen to be a university lecturer as well. Just use paid courses as long as you have financial support. That being said, awesome life experience, but you can get that. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. Like the experience that you get from the university is also really, really cool. Oh, there's a lot of chats right now. Georgia, what's up? Andy, thank you, my friend. Oh no, 3D Mutiny is another. Sorry, I was taking the thanks from someone else. Don't worry. Yeah, thanks 3D Mutiny. Yeah. Is there a way to rotate the exact render image that is rendering? Rotating the render view itself. That's a good question. I don't think. I thought you meant this. I mean, we got this thing right here, but no, I don't think you can do that. We're probably gonna have to do that in another software, to be honest. Let's bring in another light. Let's do a very simple 3-point light setup. This is the kind of render that I always recommend. It's just a basic HDRI as your like fill, and then one strong light coming from the side right here. Let's increase the exposure to something like 15. Maybe even a little bit more. There we go. 19 seems to be the good. I like to always use a little bit of temperature, so I'm gonna make this a little bit warmer. There we go. And then we're gonna duplicate that light and bring it to the back to create a really nice like a rim light. This one's gonna be cool as well. And you can see we get this very, very nice cool light on the side. And that's it. The last thing we need to do is just increase the samples a little bit. So I'm just going to use static sampling here. I think 10 is fine. And then in the post, we can add a denoiser optics. And that's going to give us our final clean render. And look at the amount of like detail that we're able to get thanks to the UDEMs. And again, I mean, at this distance, it really doesn't matter if you're using UDEMs or not. You can definitely get something similar with a 4K texture or something. But if we start getting closer, like let's say we're gonna do a close-up like this, which is a lot of pixels, right? We're using a lot of pixels for this particular image. The textures will still hold. Like you can see, we're not gonna see any pixelation, and we're still gonna be able to see a really, really, really nice detail pretty much everywhere. So yeah, that's the beauty of what's the word of the UDEM process, my friends. This is what we normally do for commercials and films. Nowadays, pretty much every commercial firm you're working with will be using UDEMs because that's the way you get the most like texture from your characters. Let's see. Is there any new feature in Maya 2024 that you're using already? Yes, there's one that I love using. It's very simple, but I love using this. I don't know why they didn't have this before, but there was something very like here. Let's say, let me grab this piece right here, edit mesh and duplicate. So let's say I'm working with this piece right here and I smooth it, right? I say mesh smooth. And I make this really, really smooth. Maybe like one more, like this, like super dense mesh. And then I delete the history. So there's no way for me to get rid of those smooths. Now they have this option called on smooth, which will bring you down all the way to the first subdivision level that you have, which is really, really, really cool. So I've been using this on smooth option quite a bit when rebuilding like characters and stuff. Because, I mean, Blender had it, ZBRUSH has it, I'm not sure why Maya didn't, but now it does, so it's really cool. Can I use Crazy Bump for character and what's quality? Can you show on screen, please? Crazy Bump, it's called Crazy Bump. Crazy Bump. It's this one right here. It's good quality. I mean, it's like a full. You can also use Photoshop as well, and you give it a picture like this one right here, and then you can generate all of the different maps. So it's quite good. You're gonna have to get pictures of skin, for instance, to be able to extract this information. But as you can see, you get the displacement map, and it's really nice. It's not gonna give you the best result, but it's not bad. The other one you can do or try using is Substance 3D Sampler as well. That one's also good. Evelyn Meveline says, "Hi, somebody help me, please. My English is bad." It's fine, but I'll try to explain. When I import my model to ZBRUSH, some polygons disappear. Why does it happen? If you have n-gons, which is a polygon with more than 4 sides, you might have that problem. So that's it, my friends. We're pretty much done, and I just want to remind you that we have all of this course, all of the things that we've been talking about. They're available here in our Udemy page, in our Skillshare. So if you want to learn a little bit more about hard surface modeling, this one right here, the hard surface modeling in Maya 22, I think it's a great exercise to properly understand topology and workflow. If you want to learn about ZBRUSH, Maya, we got 66 courses, my friend. 66 courses. It's just crazy. So you guys can get any of these ones, and I can guarantee that you're going to learn a lot. They're not all of my courses. There's a lot of super talented teachers that have been doing courses for us as well. So yeah, if you want to check them out, again, Udemy, Skillshare, ArtStation, they're available there. Yes, you can triangulate them, Evelyn, or you can try to just like properly build a topology. Very well, guys. So what do you think about the final render? Not bad, right? Not freaking bad. Usually in these renders, I like to use the infinite background. I've shown this one before. It's just a very basic plane. And you grab the edges at the back. You push them up. You push them up a little bit to create a little bit of a curvature. There we go. And that way you get a soft transition from the ground. I like to line it up so it's lined up with the camera as well. And there's also going to be more light because the whole plane, in this case, since it's white, it's going to be bouncing light up into the scene. In order to bring that light down, we can add a new material to this guy. And bring it down. Just make it like a neutral gray with quite a bit of roughness. That should darken the whole thing, maybe even more. There we go. That way we give more protagonism to the character. Another thing you can do is you can play around with the focal length. So for instance, we can go for a low focal length, like a 24. It's gonna give us more of an epic vibe. It's just gonna be a little bit more distorted. But yeah, that's it. Icy Film says, "I'm having so hard with triangle angles. Apologies. Is there a YouTube video I could practice with it?" I did one. I think I did one. I'll see if I can find one for you, my friend. But there are, like, I always take care of topology when we're explaining things here in the channel. So again, if you take a dive into all of the videos, you're probably gonna find something. Cool. Well, that's it, guys. I'm gonna be finishing the stream now. Couple of quick announcements. Remember that we have our Discord channel available, so if you want to join, I believe there is a link on the description, but if not, let me share real quick a link here. There we go. The post menu appears on this little cogwheel over here. So on the corner, if you click this little cogwheel, you're gonna have the post, display, and pixel. Display is to change like exposure and things. Like you can do a little bit of like color correction and things to see how things are gonna look. It's not something that I would probably do or recommend as much to do here instead of Maya, but you can do it. So gamma should be set to 1 and exposure 0. And then pixel is for the pixel information. This is things that people that are doing a little bit more of compositing look at, like the values of all the different elements. In our case, post is probably what we're gonna be using. I like to use the denoiser, and there's also this lens effect that's really cool, We can use a little bit of vignette to, again, give more importance to the character, and we can even use like a little bit of bloom to make like the highlights, well, bloom a little bit more. If that's something that you feel is going to help your render, go for it. There you go. Cool. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for being here on this live stream. I'm gonna be ordering the scratch map so that we can start collecting students from all over the world. So on the next live stream, I'm gonna be asking you guys, where are you from, to see if we can film more countries on our map. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you very much. I am gonna stop the stream and I'm gonna go back to work so that I can finish the premium course for you guys as soon as possible. That's it for today, my friends. I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye bye.